And if you guys want to know my formula on how I'm deciding these players, I'll break it down kind of as fast as I can. First, I am going to be looking into stats. That is going to play a role because let's be honest, if someone's shit in the sheets, I can't give them a top 5. And I'm talking about Octane. Number 2, team success, not only with how well they did the major, but just how good of a team they are right now in the game, right? And then lastly, just how they overall impact the game. Now, before I get into number 5, I have an honorable mention first. Okay, and I didn't tell my editor CJ, so he might hate me for it, but y'all know I have to show love. And I honestly think this player is very underrated and he is crucial to how good this team is right now. And that's going to be Envoy. Envoy is my honorable mention. So when you look at it just from a purely KD standpoint, he's not anything flashy. Okay, he's coming in at the number 20 overall KD with a 1.02, number 15 hardpoint KD with a 1.05, and number 25 control KD with a 1.0 flat. So I told you he came in at number 15 for hardpoint KD, but he also is number 6 in hardpoint kills per 10 minutes, averaging 26.4 kills per 10 minutes, number 12 for S&D kills per round, number 4 for control kills per game at 20.8. And then when you look at his hardpoint damage per game, he finishes in number 7. S&D first blood percentage, he comes in at number 8. In control damage per game, he comes in at number 5. And he also is the 7th best hill soaker in the league right now. He's a route man, and I think he is critical to LAT's success in hardpoint right now. He's a risk taker, okay? He's not afraid to take a risky route to try and manipulate spawns or flip the enemy out. You know, he's going on those long pinches to make breaks easier. He's waiting for his teammates to make breaks easier. He's kind of a Swiss Army knife in a sense. So he is my honorable mention. But now we get on to number 5. Coming in at number 5, you guys probably want him at number 1. It is the king. It is Scump. Look, Scump is turning the clock back. He looked lights out at the major. Obviously, we all know Optic won. Throughout the first stage, Optic ended positive in every single game mode. 10-5 in hardpoint, 8-6 in search and destroy, and an unbelievable 9-1 in control. And when you look at Scump's stats throughout that time period, especially as an SMG, they're very impressive. He ended the stage number 12 in overall KD, coming in at number 5 for SMGs with a 1.04, number 17 in hardpoint KD with a 1.04 as well, number 9 in control KD with a 1.12. Now, his S&D KD wasn't the best, but he definitely was making plays. I mean, Scump has never necessarily been known for his S&D prowess, but he doesn't need to be on this team. And then he also notched the 15th spot in hardpoint kills per game with 24.9, and the number 14 spot in control kills per game with 18.9. And even if you think Scump's stats aren't that crazy, I wouldn't necessarily argue with you, but bro, watching the series, especially at the major, Optic's success, especially versus FaZe, but just throughout the entire tournament, had a lot to do with his individual clutches. Like, he was going off so many different times. And I know it might not show up on the scoreboard. Sometimes it does, but just the game winning decisions, the game winning plays, the pieces, the 2 pieces, the 3 pieces, the S&D clutches, it adds up. And I think he is like a spark plug for this young Optic team because he is the veteran. He's the OG. So when these guys see Scump, you know, someone who, when they were getting into Call of Duty, everyone was calling the king, they probably thought he was the king. Well, he is, but you know what I mean. And so he's just super motivational. The fact that he's still doing it at such a high level. You know, if you watched the gameplay, you would see the plays that he was making. And, you know, I was proud. I was proud because I wish I was still doing it, but you know, I'm old and washed, so I can't. Coming in at number 4, we have one half of the Tiny Terrorists. He is Call of Duty's newest villain, I guess. It is Simp. And look, I know Simp is not playing up to Simp standards early on in this stage, but he still is very impressive and very dominant. Simp helped Atlanta FaZe get second at the major. And similarly to Optic, they ended in every single game mode a positive. They went 13-6 in hardpoint, 11-5 in S&D, and 7-5 in control. And I feel like people aren't underrating Simp by any means, but they're kind of overlooking the fact, just because he isn't playing up to his standards yet, that he's not still playing unbelievable Call of Duty. Just to break down some quick stats for you guys, he ended number 9 in overall KD, coming in at number 4 in the SMG role with a 1.06, number 10 in hardpoint KD with a 1.06, number 5 in S&D KD, his bread and butter, with a 1.21, and number 19 in control KD with a 1.02. He also notched the 19th spot for hardpoint kills per 10 minutes and the 6th spot in S&D kills per rounds. Those are just some of the stats that I decided to use because I'm a cherry picker. But let's be honest, okay? Simp is an unbelievable talent. We all know that. Whether you love him or you hate him, he's still doing his thing. And I do think he is getting better as the game goes on. I know he had some, off games, off series at the major, especially versus Optic. I think he looked great versus damn near every other team. But the kid is talented, man. The kid is talented, and he was one of the biggest reasons why FaZe made that losers bracket run. And the most important thing is I know he's hungry, okay? This was great that they lost this event to Optic, because I think we're going to see an angry Simp. Well, that just sounds weird, but we're going to see an angry Simp moving forward, and I think he's going to be playing even better in the second stage. Coming in number 3, this player literally glides across the map. He doesn't walk, he doesn't run, he floats. It is Shotz, aka the player with the best movement in any FPS I've ever seen. And I think a lot of people are infatuated with his movement and his talent. But something that's overlooked with Shotz, especially from watching the games, watching Optic series at the major and just their regular season matches, the kid is unbelievably smart. He's got to be one of the smartest players in Call of Duty right now, in my opinion. And the craziest thing for me is, I know you can see all these other stats and whatever when you're watching the series of the kills, the deaths. In the finals versus FaZe, Shotz won them damn near all their hard points. I think it was the 2 hard points they won, and he didn't play well on the scoreboard, right? If you were to just look at his kills and his deaths, you'd be like, well, Shotz's, he's kind of getting shit on a little bit. But I saw at least 6 or 7 highly impactful plays, whether it be hitting a route, maybe a riskier route that a lot of players aren't willing to take, to flip out FaZe when they had rotation to New Hill, getting to certain positions for cutoffs. Like it was incredible watching him. I kind of broke it down in my Optic versus FaZe finals breakdown video, but like, you don't see those things unless you're actually looking for it, and unless you maybe have experience and you know what plays that he's making in that instance. It was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. And I'm going to keep saying it because Shotz might be my favorite Call of Duty player to watch currently. And just to give you some stats, okay, he ended number 8 overall in KD, coming in number 3 for the SMGs with a 1.06, number 5 in hardpoint KD, number 3 if you only count SMGs with a 1.09, number 16 in S&D KD, number 20 in control KD. And he also notched number 4 in hardpoint kills per 10 minutes and number 7 in S&D kills per round. Oh, also, I forgot one. He ended 8th in hardpoint damage per game. So even though he might have had some games where it didn't look like he was getting that many kills, he was making so many smart, big brain, giga brain, whatever you want to call it, 5-head plays. I think 5 heads actually not a compliment, but whatever. Basically, Shotz does so many plays that go unnoticed, in my opinion. And I know everyone loves him for his movement and his obvious talent. He's just great all around. I think he is one of the most well-rounded players we have in the league right now. And then coming in at number 2, it is everybody's favorite snake. It is Celium, player out of Atlanta FaZe. And I'll be honest, reading the stats, it was kind of hard not to put him at number 1, okay? But I also know it doesn't just come down to the stats, okay? I told you guys my formula in the beginning, but I actually need to read off these for you because this is absurd. So Celium ended stage 1 with the number 1 overall KD, coming in at 1.26. He also ended number 1 in S&D KD with an absolutely ridiculous number, 1.61. And then his control was kind of trash. He ended at number 11 for control KD with a 1.11. He also landed him at 14 for hardpoint kills per 10 minutes, number 3 for hardpoint damage per game. He was the number 1 AR player though, and number 4 for S&D kills per round. It's pretty absurd, right? Like, that's pretty wild, the fact that he is that consistent at hardpoint, at S&D, and at control. And I mean, people might not like his style of play, okay? Don't get it twisted though. Celium is a great player. Like, he is one of the most talented players we have in the league, but he has a unique style, I guess I could say, on how he approaches the game, you know? But anyone can do it. You can do it too. But that's not the end all be all. Celium he's a very fundamentally sound player. He takes advantages of all of the positioning in Vanguard, okay? All. And I think he, as well as Simp, and I mean the rest of the team, but he really stood out. He kind of put the team on his back at times, especially in individual maps. You know, at the major, if it wasn't for him, I think there's a good chance Atlanta FaZe get knocked out by LAT. Okay, they don't even make that run to the finals. But sometimes when you're a superstar, you just have those takeover games, and it seems like Celium has been having a lot of them so far in Vanguard. I'm interested if he can keep up this level of play, if it is sustainable, because it's pretty absurd right now, but he doesn't get the number 1 spot. That's because number 1 is Dashi. Now, most of you guys have probably saw my video that I've talked about, and I still stand by what I said at that time, where Dashi is going to get his. Dashi's great. Dashi is one of the best shooters in Call of Duty. He is one of the most talented players in Call of Duty. But I think with the help of Rambo Ray, I'm assuming, and maybe his teammates, he's reinventing his game. Okay, because he's always going to get his. He's always going to get his. But I'm going to keep it 100 with y'all. There were a lot of times, even when I was playing against him in my career, where he was putting up empty stats. Okay, he wasn't really quote unquote efficient. They weren't really impactful because he was kill whore. He was. But what I saw at Major 1 was impressive. I don't know if something just clicked in his head or if he's just been, you know, actively improving in making sure he not only is getting those kills that he's going to get anyways, but he's helping his team. He's complimenting his team. And he had a great event. He had one of the best Call of Duty events probably of all time. If you look at it from a statistical standpoint, I'm stumbling over my words, Jesus Christ. And just to give you guys a little rundown of his stats for the first stage, he ended number 3 in overall KD with a 1.18, number 4 in hardpoint KD with a 1.10, number 7 in S&D KD with a 1.17, and number 1 in control KD with a 1.33. Like Celium, well, not in the snaking sense, but Dashi is a great player when it comes to his positioning. Okay, and I think we saw that all Major 1. He never put himself in a bad spot. Like, whenever he was getting in a gunfight, he was in the advantage. And even if he wasn't, his shot is so lights out, he's able to bail himself out. But majority of the maps I saw, it was just great positioning out of him. He let the game come to him. Okay, he didn't try to force, you know, all these kills and force all these plays that really are kind of useless. He let the game come to him, kind of slowed the game down. And he also had so many takeover maps, especially in control. I mean, he ended with the number 1 overall KD in control throughout the stage. And I know besides the FaZe series, both in the winners bracket and the finals, Optic kind of cruised along. But how I talked about Scump, Dashi had a ton of huge maps where it was just like, if you're on the side of FaZe, you kind of just can't really do much. He's a superstar. He's going to have those takeover games, and he did it consistently in Major 1. So I'm excited to see if he can keep it up. I think that if he can keep improving on just being a better team player, not saying he's bad by any means, but I was very impressed. So those are my top 5 players right now in Vanguard. I want to know yours. Let me know in the comment section below. As always, man, thank you guys for the love. You guys have been great lately. I hope we can keep this momentum train rolling. I'm gonna see y'all later.